Muy buenas noches a todos los que están reunidos allí en...
Good evening to all those gathered over there in Costa Rica on this occasion. Today, Wednesday, October 18th of this year 2023. Greetings to the Reverend William Sibaja and to all the ministers and all the brethren there, whom are sharing some moments of fellowship around the Word. And through my brother and friend, Geraldo, better known as Chang, and also his wife, who are there, I am sending you these words of greetings, wishing you all the blessings that God has for His children in this end time, corresponding to His program in this stage of age of the cornerstone and dispensation of the kingdom. May God pour His blessings upon the Costa Rican people, and may the corresponding group come out from there for the marriage supper of the Lamb, and may they be prepared to receive those promises that He will be fulfilling before the marriage supper of the Lamb takes place. Remember that there is always a moment of trial before God crowns the work of each son and daughter of God. It happened with Saul. Notice, back then he did not wait for Samuel. He did not reach that stage of adoption. And it also happened with Adam at the beginning. And notice, also to Moses. In a difficult moment of his ministry, since he glorified himself and did not do what God told him to do. Notice, he did not reach the stage where he had made the promise that he would introduce, God through Moses would introduce the people into the promised land. There is a message that our brother William spoke to us in Chile. He titled it The Fountain of Youth. And there is a part where he says, now we will only experience a squeeze, and in the midst of that squeeze, the fullness of God will be manifested, and the dead in Christ will be resurrected in eternal bodies, and we who are alive will be transformed. And I cannot give too much details regarding that, because there are many important things to happen. And in order for them to happen, first, we must reach that moment. And the messenger has to reach that moment as well. Notice the people have to arrive, and the messenger and the people, they have to reach that moment. Remember that when Moses reached a key moment back then, it was at the time when he should not have struck the rock twice, but speak to it, and he smote it. That was a very important moment for Moses. But notice, Moses was under a squeeze, and under a squeeze will come the adoption for all the sons and daughters of God. Notice, that moment in the ministry of Moses was a very important key moment. And that moment was for and represented that part where in the third pool, through the spoken word, in the midst of that squeeze, where the messenger and the group will arrive through that word being spoken, that creative word. All the promises will come, including the resurrection and transformation. But all that, notice, we must leave it only for the messenger. How all that would be fulfilled in the midst of the church, so that the enemy of God, the devil, doesn't make an imitation or hinder that promise while God fulfills it. Now, back then, notice there was a battle. In the smitten rock, in that first smitten rock, there was a battle. After the first rock was smitten, in other words, a victory took place. That was the victory that Christ gave us in his first coming. And that victory was to receive each one of his children, the believers in him, to receive the new birth. That theophanic body from the sixth dimension. And for this end time, with that second rock, which represents Christ in his second coming, notice, in that message that I was reading you, quoting you that portion of the Fountain of Youth, there he tells us about the Omega. Let us read that little part there. It says, and for this end time, with the second rock, which represents Christ at his second coming, the rock, what? Omega. The first rock was the rock Alpha, and now is the rock Omega, because Alpha is first and then Omega after. That is the last. And now with the second rock, with the second coming of Christ, he will give us the new body. Now notice that what we were talking about today and yesterday, how the first rock gave us the water and produced that theophanic body from the sixth dimension, and with the second rock as well. In that second part where it was smitten, it would give us the water of that new eternal and glorified body. Therefore, continue moving forward in this end time, preparing yourself in this time of trial, to soon obtain the promise of our adoption. Remember that the judgment begins in the house. And that judgment that would be taking place here on this planet Earth, and that is already in that stage where the sons and daughters of God are being tested, which are going to be transformed and raptured, and the rest of the group as well. And then all that will turn to the foolish virgins and also to the unbelievers. But since the judgment begins in the house, notice something very important has been taking place in the divine program in the midst of the church, because Brother Branham says that the days of Ananias and Sapphira would return again. And that would be happening before the Great Tribulation begins. Therefore, we are in the time of that fulfillment. And as it is progressing and we get closer to that glorious moment of our transformation, we will be seeing more clearly that judgment that God has been carrying out in the midst of the people in this final stage. We all hope to come out of that judgment well, because those who come out well will be transformed, as Brother Branham was told, that he will come to you and judge you. But first, Revelation 10 has to appear on earth. That coming of the mighty angel with the title deed, giving it to a man. And that has to take place before. And to carry out the claiming work. And to carry out the judgment here. And then go through the sixth dimension. Because remember Revelation 11, that ministry dies there. And if he dies, then he has to go somewhere. Well, it will go there to the sixth dimension, where a judgment will be taking place. And there, those that come out well, they will come. They will take bodies, and we will eat. They told Brother Branham, and he told us. So the judgment, remember, begins at the house. First here and then there. It's been a great privilege for me to greet all of you there in Costa Rica. And may you continue having some happy moments full of love and happiness. And this fellowship around the Word, which is around all of you who are there in this dinner that you're having right now. So may God bless you and keep you all.